Hello, I'm Elgato, and welcome back to a Minecraft Updated Aquatic video. Today I want to give you a little bit of a tutorial on exactly how the brand new water physics work in this update, because although there's something that they're somewhat simple for some people to get, I feel like you need a few decent examples for it to really click on your head as to exactly how water has changed and how it's entirely different. And then because my favorite thing to do with any given feature, especially this one, is not necessarily to teach you how you can use it for productive reasons, but to teach you how you can use it for some very weird, very glitchy kind of abuse of the water mechanics, because all water in Minecraft is treated equally, which means you can do some really strange stuff I'll be teaching you towards the end of today's video. So hopefully you all do enjoy it. You can like this if you do like it, because it helps out the channel. Let's know you do like these updated aquatic tutorials and that you're sure you want to see more of these on the channel and that you enjoy seeing them every single day or few days as we upload them. So with that said, let's get straight into talking about the very first thing, which is going to be the fundamentals of water in this update. So water has fundamentally changed in Minecraft as of 1.4, 1.13 or TU65 from being a block which effectively works as its own block, where you can either have a block of water, or you can have a pressure plate, or you can have a flower pot, or you can have any of these other things, to now being something that can coexist alongside pretty much any other, block or entity inside the game. So here you can see I've got a painting which works flawlessly underwater, because there is a second variant of the painting which can kind of be combined with water. So there is effectively two things existing in this block right now. There is, the painting over here, and then there is the water next to it. And over here you can see how there's like, oh yeah, well there's effectively three things, because there's a thing over there, and the water. But basically now you can have blocks underwater that otherwise wouldn't have worked, because even though you could have glass planes below water before this update, it would have a big air bubble around it, whereas now it seamlessly works underwater. So with that said, I want to mention that you can only place water source blocks onto any of these blocks if you want to, but you can only do it with a lot of them by crouching next to it. So if you try to place water next to an anvil, it's not going to work unless you crouch, in which case you can fill the rest of the block. And this is really interesting because it means that you can effectively make partial water blocks if you place the water above ground. And again, once you do this, by the way, you have this weird situation where you have two things you can get rid of in this block. If you get rid of the anvil, you have a solid block of just water, and if you get rid of the water, you have a solid block of just anvil. So if I get rid of the anvil, just like as you can see right here, it just turns into a water block, because the water can, even though there's more water, there was less water before, the water can just fill up the entire block, and if we place the anvil back down, then it will exist together. So yeah, a lot of people think that you have to place the water first, then place the underwater block, but you can do it both ways, and that's a really interesting thing that you might not have realized. That again, it can be used in some fairly effective and interesting ways. But today, we're not, necessarily here to talk about the most amazing, useful and intended redstone contraptions. One of my favorite things to do is to kind of abuse this stuff. So yeah, how can you abuse the fact that water exists alongside ladders, even though it doesn't work, by the way, fun fact, and water exists alongside redstone stuff. And although you might have your own ideas as to how you can use all these different things, there is a very interesting side effect of this, and that is the fact that all water in Minecraft is treated equally. So that is the fundamental exploit we're going to be utilizing today, because all water in Minecraft, no matter how small, how big, has the exact same effect. So for instance, even though I'm going to be landing right now onto not quite a full Minecraft water block, so as you can see, it's literally one block tall. If I jump into the sky 40 blocks and then come right back down, even though no matter how many water blocks I fall into, whether it's 1 or 40, I'm still not going to take any full damage from the trident, and I guess the Riptide trident. And the same thing goes to the fact that, like, no matter how much water there is, I can still launch myself out of it just the same. As you can see right here, just wonderful. So no full damage, none of that. And also the third thing we can also utilize is the fact that no matter how small a water block is, again, a single water block surrounded by signs, we can run into it, and running will be converted into swimming. If you are inside water, no matter how small, you will be swimming. So again, I'm just running in third person, not doing anything differently, but you'll notice how the player model starts swimming for a very brief second when you go towards it. So how can we utilize this exactly? Well, the best ways, in my opinion, are to obviously take it and to do some very weird things with it. So, because of the fact that you can take pretty much any Minecraft block and fill the rest of it with water, you can therefore, use these weird edge cases to create very small bits of water. So, for instance, my favorite one is a chest, because you can surround the rest of the chest with water, which means literally 1 pixel on each side of the chest is surrounded by water, which means there's a very, very tiny amount. And just as a useful little thing here, because in case you're curious as to why there's sand on top, if you break a block, which has water below it, the sand will still replace the block because it falls and replaces it, and it's just a useful thing to know. But yeah, let's go do the exact same thing, just without the sand on top, and let me show you the fact that if I do this exact same thing, despite the fact that there is 1 pixel of water around the edge here, I can still launch myself from it as much as I like, and if I run into this at the right angle, which is admittedly quite tricky, so again, you're going to have to really try and do this, but you actually will swim into it, and you can swim onto the chest this way. Look at this, I'm swimming, and then, look at that, you can kind of like swim around the edge of the block, and this is, again, it's quite quite a fascinating thing because it automatically happens just by sprinting towards it. You can therefore use this to get through very tiny gaps. So my favorite example of small water blocks, because although this is 1 pixel wide, it's still a lot of water. The smallest amount of water you can make is by using stairs, or 3/4 slabs if you will, because as you can see right here, this is 3/4 of a Minecraft block, and therefore 1/4 of that block is water. I can take it out, I can put it back down. It is literally 1/4 of a Minecraft block. This is 0.25 meters squared of water. It's a tiny amount, but if I run through it, I can still swim through it, and that means that you can make it for a 1 block wide gap, because when you're swimming, that can happen. So as you can see right here, this is the most insane abuse of Minecraft water. It literally allows you to sprint and swim through something, turn yourself into a different size player model, which is something you don't usually see in any other form. And just again, look at this a few times. It really has to be seen to believe the fact that you can minimize your model for literally a split second just to get under there and then make it through. And you can use this fact to go into much smaller tunnels, but the fact that 1/4 block of Minecraft water will do that, pretty crazy. But what makes it even better is the fact that you don't even need 1/4 of a block. So this is 1/8 of a block of water. This is 0.125 meters squared of water. So again, in real life, we're talking 125 milliliters, if I'm not mistaken, with converting cubic meters to squared. But we're talking a very small amount of water, like not enough. If you were left in the desert for an hour, this amount of water would not be enough to keep you alive. But this amount of water is enough to keep you alive if you want to swim through it and get through a gap, or if you want to use this in the craziest way, which in my opinion is with the trident, because you can use it as a source of landing. If you want to do the craziest landing in the world, try and land inside this amount. It will still count because it's still water, and you can obviously, again, the fact to me that you can land in it is just so insane, but it is a real thing you can do in this update. So how do you abuse water physics in Minecraft? You have to abuse the fact that all water in Minecraft is created equal, and you also have to abuse the fact that very tiny amounts of water can be created. Again, right here, this is 1 pixel, so 14 by 14 of this isn't the case, which means only the very outer edge of this is water, and if you surround it by other blocks to stop that water getting away, like we can do right there, you can create even less water, but it still functions as a real thing you can swim in, a real thing you can launch yourself out of. And if you combine this with leeches, and you combine this with kind of like secret measures, you can effectively have secret water in your Minecraft world, and then you can use that secret water to do some really great and wonderful things, such as launching yourself from one of these with even smaller possibilities. And yeah, if you want to get around your Minecraft world faster than anyone else, all you have to do is create effectively secret water. And although I mentioned this 125 milliliters example, I'm sure there's even less less that you can put into one block, and it's something I've actually been playing around with a little bit, like to see what is the minimum amount of water you can put there. And the simple answer is there is no minimum amount. No matter how little water you put somewhere, Minecraft water is equal, and that's the thing you have to keep in mind from today's video. Water can coexist inside any other block, and because of that, water can exist in very small quantities, and because all water is exactly the same, you can do wacky things with pretty much any amount of water. And just keep that in mind, because with great power comes great responsibility, and make sure you use this fun fact with some great responsibility, because that's going to be pretty important. So I hope you did all enjoy this video. Like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot. Let us know you do like this sort of thing. Share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here with notifications turned on, because that's kind of like subscribing these days, because it's the best way to see these videos every single day on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.